this computer. Okay, everybody, so you'll be asked to accept the recording. Regina, I'm very disappointed in you. You normally remind me to record, and you forgot it there this time. I have too many things on my mind. We have a lot on this weekend. We have our practical day on Saturday. On Sunday, we have our brainstorming event, which I'd like all of the practitioners or people who are doing training or that have done Rajvinder's therapy class to come along to, and anybody that has any ideas about how we can promote Ayurveda. And that's on Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. And then Sunday afternoon, we have our concert, which is going to be fantastic. And there are still some seats available for that concert. And that's with four, a sarod player, a tabla player, and two vocalists. And actually, the Indian ambassador is going to be there as well. He's going to give a little talk, because it's actually Dhanvantri Day, Ayurveda Day, on the 29th, but we're going to celebrate it on the 27th. So we have a busy weekend ahead of us, which is good. It's always good to be busy. Now, okay, so the first question, I'm just going to deal with some of the questions from the emails before I go on to the chat. The first one is a very broad one, and it's from Steph Bennell, and it's just any thoughts on IBS. Well, my initial thought on IBS is that it's probably something we should do a webinar on. It's a big topic. It's hard to handle it in a Q&A like this. But what I would advise for anybody suffering from IBS is that they do the 7-lesson Ayurveda course, because it's going to be it's all about getting your digestion correct and getting your diet right and getting your lifestyle right, and getting any anxiety or any other things that might be in your life, coming up with ways of dealing with them through meditation or whatever. And there's all of those things are covered in the 7-lesson course. So I think anybody that has IBS or any digestive issues, really, it would be worth their while doing that course. But just maybe some very maybe simple things that people should consider doing. I was about to say Rajvinder, and then she disappeared off the screen. So Triphala, I'll pass that one on to you. IBS, Triphala, any just general things that people could look at?
Yeah, so IBS, usually the symptoms are like loose motions or sometimes constipation. So it is alternate. And dosha involved are basically the Vata dosha, which is playing a major role, imbalance of Vata dosha, and even the Pitta dosha as well, and the Kapha dosha. So all the three major doshas are imbalanced in this state, so that it's, as Noel also described, like having a good lifestyle is a key to IBS, and even relieving the stress by meditation is also a good point, and even breathing exercises should be okay. Can everyone hear me?
No, your sound is coming and going a little bit. I can hear you all right, but it's not great.
Okay, because I could just see that the internet was unstable here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's how, like, you have to maintain the daily routine properly, like have warm meals and a big meal in the daytime, in the afternoon time, during when the pitta is quite high, and then have light and warm dinners. So that is a key for IBS, what I would say.
Yeah, I think really the 7-lesson course and the lesson on Vata, and also very easily digestible, nourishing foods like dal soups and vegetable soups, and very nourishing food, and not so much cold food and not so much eating late at night. Definitely no alcohol, and are things that are very difficult to digest until such time as you can get get a reversal in it. Like in Ayurveda, your digestion is seen as being primary. It's the root cause of nearly all disease is the production of ama, which is toxins, and that comes about through improperly digested food. So it's very important that you deal with IBS, and it can be dealt with. That's the great thing. Rajvinder, do you have anything you'd like to add there to what Dr. Chitali says?
Yeah, it's about it has a lot to do with the diet for sure. And depends on what kind of food you eat. So raw food is not suitable for Vata people. If you're Vata constitution and you eat raw food or cold water, and the first thing I suggest that you can start drinking warm water, or or water to your body temperature at least, to avoid anything cold. and avoid drinking too much liquids with your food because that can disturb your digestive enzymes. Because it is something to do with your small intestine, because usually our small intestine has very low number of gut bacteria than the large intestine. And when the food mortality, the food doesn't flow properly into the gut line, into the gut passage due to too much sitting or eating a lot of carbs, which we can say energy toxicity, like you're eating way too much food that your body can handle. And then the bad bacteria start growing in your gut, and they start going towards your small intestine, and then they shouldn't be there, and they're releasing too many gases, and so you feel bloating, you feel burping, and that kind of IBS type of symptoms. So IBS is a very, very vague term. Sometimes it could be just disturbance of bacteria in your small intestine that you need to correct by eliminating certain food, or need to look what is causing the problem. So Ayurveda would kind of I put it under the umbrella of Agni disturbance, with your digestive, your metabolic disturbance. So you need to see that were you like this and why you're having this problem. You might be very stressed that the gut-brain axis is disturbed. So yeah, so the common advice here is start drinking warm water and eating warm food and go to bed on time. So that can help a lot.
Yeah, it is a very broad term and it affects people differently, and there's different levels to it. My definite suggestion is do the 7-lesson course, and it's a very uncomfortable condition. You should be looking at getting rid of it. It can develop into other things. I would strongly suggest you have a consultation with a Vaidya. They can determine is your nature Vata, Pitta, Kapha, where it's going wrong, what you need to do, and a Vaidya will put you on a plan to hopefully help start to reverse the condition, you know. Okay, so the next one is from Ruth Francis, and it says, do you have any advice for my strange sleep pattern? I've been following all the routines to calm Vata dosha for over 6 months, and it has improved. But now I sleep 2 to 3 nights per week for about 7 hours. 3 nights being wide awake between 2:30 and 4:30 to 5, and usually one night when I don't get to sleep till the small hours are late. Thank you. Well, Ruth, I think you've identified it well there as being a Vata condition, because there's a lot of irregularity going on there. I would say you should go to our YouTube channel and take a look at the video that Dr. Brennan made about sleep and things that he offers for sleep. But you've been doing this for 6 months, and that might seem like a long time, but it could have taken decades to put yourself out of balance. So it might take a little longer to go back into balance. But Rajvinder, she's getting 3 nights with good sleep, 7 hours, which is pretty good. And then a couple of nights wide awake between
the screen, and she does look quite Vata. So there is, and you're in Vata phase of your life. So that is a Vata imbalance. And that particular hour of the night you're waking up, that is a Vata dominant hour, which governs your thyroid and adrenal. Seems like there's a bit of a hormone imbalance in your system. So the one particular remedy that comes to my mind is 222, which is very good. Combination of 3 herbs, amla, ashwagandha, and shatavari. You can start taking that 1 tablet daytime and see how that go. We do have deep rest, which is very good. If you wake up, you can take the deep rest and try to go back to sleep. And you need to reset your whole nervous system. So this is something imbalance in your nervous system. Make sure you're not drinking too much coffee or any stimulants. So avoid any kind of stimulants. Okay, you don't, then good. And then you fuel yourself properly, have a bit of more protein in your lunch. So hopefully that might help. You can do massage before you go to bed, and you can do some grounding practices like emptying your mind and go to bed. There's one analogy I heard somewhere: if you wake up, look at the ceiling and count the sheep, count 100 sheep. Maybe you sleep by the time you count the 100 sheep. So yeah.
I definitely would recommend you do the Vata class in the 7-lesson course.
Yeah.
Just take a look at that Vata, because it's all a Vata issue, you know. And I didn't see you on the screen, but Rajvinder says you're Vata dosha. So
she's there. She's
yeah,
there.
Yeah, then you really need to look after your Vata dosha. And this is Vata time of the year we're coming into now, you know. So that means you got to look after yourself even more. So when it gets windy and cold, make sure you wear a hat when you go out, because your ears are a Vata organ, and make sure you're all raw food. Forget about raw food now. all warm cooked nourishing foods, soups and dals and root vegetables that are coming into season, all the spices in there that you put in with them to help balance your vata dosha, and avoid worry and anxiety if that's a possible thing to do in this world that we live in. But anyway, try and avoid them, Next
I would
question
like
is,
to just add in
oh, sorry, Shashali, yeah.
yeah, just one thing, like you can even massage your feet at night before going to bed. Like just take few drops of ghee, that clarified butter, or few drops of oil should be fine, and just massage your foot sole properly up and down and in circular motion. So that will also help to calm down your vata and the nervous system as well to give you a good sleep.
Yeah, so you can do it with ghee or with sesame oil. Either one of them would be fine, So Barbara Boland has a question. Would kindly give some suggestions for what seems to be a circulatory issue for my daughter who's in her late 20s. She is Vata Kapha from what we can figure out. She has dreadful chilblains on her fingers starting this time of the year right through until probably next May. She also has blue spider veins covering her lower legs and ankles. When she asked about her GP, she was told it was just a cosmetic issue, which seems strange, but anyway, but it seems to be worsening each year, traveling towards her knees at this point. She adds ginger to her juice and smoothies, but is there anything else she can do? She's on her feet a lot of the day, but would have a good long walk 3 times a week with much appreciation, Barbara. So chilblains on her fingers and spider veins covering her lower legs and ankles. Sounds to me like a Vata issue again, but Rajvinder, any suggestions?
I would, it indicate towards her lungs. That's when you start talking about her, it just, lungs came to my mind because the spider veins and the chilblains, that sounds like, and she's Kapha Vata. So it seems like there is some weakness in the lungs area because that can affect the circulations and all of those things. So I don't know about the person, maybe need to know a bit more. And she's very young as well. So make sure her nutrition is good, that she's eating good food. Like weakness in the elasticity of the veins is there. That's why they are appearing. So why the veins are getting losing their elasticity, even though she's standing a lot. So it seems like there is a strain as well. So again, more protein in her diet will help with the elasticity. And chilblains, yeah, good spices, ginger, turmeric, cumin, cinnamon. Start using some of that in her diet. She's doing ginger and smoothie or whatever you said she's doing. Yeah, that's okay. Maybe don't overdo, but yeah, do in moderation. And that's help her kapha. Yeah, so look into sounds like there is ama in the system, so which again will be lungs and cough and all that. So that's she need to talk to the Vaija, one of the Vaija, to get into the depth of this. For a young person to get spider veins is not a good thing. It sounds like malnutrition. There is some nutrition deficiency there. Yeah.
Yeah, again, I think if this is getting worse every year and she's had it for a few years, I think it's well worth her while meeting up with a Vaija for that particular
Yeah, she
one.
needs good antioxidants. So amla berry, MA1 could be something to start with.
Okay. So we'll take one more from the email and then we'll go to the chats and take a few from the chat. So this is from Anne Galligan, and she says, I've had a few blood tests now in the last few months and have recurring issue with too much calcium in my blood. What would you recommend for this? So too much calcium in the blood. Chitrali, any recommendations for someone with I presume cut out all foods with calcium in it, but is there anything else that?
So basically, see, more of calcium, if you're taking any calcium supplements, so try to stop that if you're just overdosing yourself. And the other thing is like regular exercises will also help to reduce that. And even like a few herbs, like even amla and even ashwagandha will help to counter back that calcium deposit which is there. And is your cholesterol also high in that case? Like, I just want to know, because only calcium deposition, we can't talk much on that.
Also make sure that parathyroid hormones level is good, because when parathyroid is high, that sometimes is not checked very regularly. then it can easily leach out calcium in the blood. So that would be like, for your next call, get your parathyroid level checked.
What is it, Rajvinder? Just say it again.
Parathyroid.
Just type it into the chat box there. Okay. I was struggling with an answer for that question, but yeah, that's
Take
very
more,
interesting.
vitamin K rich food that will help with the balancing the calcium.
Vitamin K rich food.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let's see. We'll go to the chats just to be fair and get some from the chats as well. So so just a few people saying hello. Ingrid says, hi, I'm new here. So you're very welcome along, Ingrid. Anita says hello to everybody. Hello, 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 Ingrid. Hello. Can you leave Vata oil on overnight? I would not advise to do that. I think you should wash the Vata oil off because you're drawing out the toxins from the skin when you do an Abhyanga, and especially if there's heat involved as well. And I think your pajamas or your nightdress or your sheets are going to be in a mess. I don't think it's a good idea. Anyway, maybe the Vajas have a different opinion, leaving Vata oil on overnight, Rajvinder.
Depends on how much you're putting on. If you're just massaging your feet or extremities, just like your arms or your head, it's no problem. But if you're putting a lot of oil, you need to wipe it off. You can use a kitchen towel or something like that, or a quick rinse under the shower. It's fine. So, but if you're a regular somebody who are doing massage from a long time, toxins are not a big problem. So you can, but if you're the beginners, then ideally the rule is you wash the oil off 20 minutes. You keep it on for 20 minutes because the toxins start going back. And so if you are somebody say, oh no, I don't have that much ama, I am doing Abhyanga from a long time, and you're not putting a lot of oil, it's all right, yeah. But oil tend to make your skin a little bit cold, so it can make you a bit more cold and feeling more cold. So that's the precautions around it. If you, yeah.
Yeah, I think you'll get the benefits of it anyway, even if you wash it off after 10 minutes or 20 minutes, you know. But okay, good point there, Rajvinder. If it's just the soles of your feet, then that's fine, you know, to help you get to sleep or something like that. But if it's a whole body Abhyanga, unless you've been doing them for a long time, might be better off just to rinse it off. So we have a question from Sally. It's about using triphala on the gum for a tooth with a sore root. I have used a tablet of triphala against the root overnight up to 3 nights running and find it very effective. Is it okay for more than one night consecutively? And how do you get it out in the morning? Because it tends to stick and leave bits behind. Rinse with warm water or oil. Well, yeah, you can put triphala. You can use gum care oil as well, which is a great thing to use. But you can put triphala up against a tooth, and it helps to draw out the ama as well. But I would say in the morning you just need to brush it very gently and then rinse it with warm water because the triphala will stick to the gum. It'll stick into the gum. I don't think there's any problem in using it consecutively for 3 nights. But Shatali, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, it's not a problem to use it daily until you have a toothache, but try not to use it when you don't have a toothache or anything. So even if you use it consecutive for a week or something and the toothache is relieved, you can stop using that. And rinse your mouth well in the morning, brush your teeth properly, or even do the oil pulling, so which will help to get rid of all the tiny particles which are stuck into the teeth.
Yeah. So oil pulling, and also you can use the gum care oil. I would that gum care oil is fantastic. I definitely recommend using that. Kay McDonald has a similar question. Gum disease, what would you recommend? The gum care oil and the oil pulling and all of the daily morning routines that Dr. Rajvinder explained so well in the 7-lesson course, in the lesson on daily routines. So all of the oral hygiene things that we do in the morning with you know, using the oil pulling, using the gum care oil, scraping the tongue, all of those things should help with gum disease. I'm not sure if there's anything specific, Rajvinder, you'd like to add to that?
Like this lady is doing triphala tablet for her gum.
No, this is a different lady. This is
no,
Kay.
yes, I know. Sorry. So you can use triphala water if your gums are prone to get cavities or no, not the cavity, the bleeding or anything like that, loose gums. So triphala water is very good. So you can dissolve the triphala tablet in the water and you just kind of use that for your washing your gums, or you can massage the triphala tablet in, like you clean your mouth and everything, and you powder the triphala, or you can buy just triphala powder, and with your soft brush or with your help of your finger, you can just massage it in, and then you rinse with water. So you can, that's, triphala is very good, great antibacterial, and it's also a good astringent. So it's tighten the gums. It's actually tighten the gums if they're loose or bleeding or anything. So that should fix it.
Yeah, and good diet as well. So if you're taking lots of processed sugars in sweets and chocolates and processed foods, just stop taking them and cut down on them, you know.
Yeah, so it could be a vata problem again, lose muscles, looseness, weakness around the gums, the weak gum, and then make sure you have good vitamin C. Sometimes vitamin C deficiency can cause weakness in the gums. Yeah.
Bernadette Healy says, what is causing heartburn 1 or 2 hours after meals? Well, good question, because I got it today and I know exactly what caused it for me, because I had a pie and it was the pastry that, and because it's nearly always the pastry that gives me heartburn after, if I get it after a meal. I would say digestion is not that strong, and the wrong foods as well. And, you know, if we eat in a hurried way, if we eat the wrong foods, if we eat a lot of processed foods, then that's the only time I'd get heartburn. If I cook at home here, I never ever get heartburn. When I'm in India, I can go to India for months on end. I'll never have any digestive issues, because the food is just so well cooked and they're so rich in the different spices and things. It's just fantastic. But I come back here, and if I'm out, which I was out today, and I end up eating something processed foods, then I can get heartburn. But it's just a digestive issue. I mean, what I did was I took some MA320, and that tends to instantaneously get rid of it. But you don't want to be doing that on a continuing basis. You want to get to the source of why it's happening. And if certain foods trigger it, then avoid those certain foods. And maybe your digestion is weak. And then if you strengthen your digestion, you should be able to stop the heartburn. But Rajvinder, have you any other suggestions?
Yeah, the 3 phases of digestion, if I think about that in here, 2 hours is like your food is in pitta phase of digestion, which exactly would be high amount of acid in your stomach, and food is going to your small intestine in the 2 hours. And then the 3rd hour is kapha phase, that is kind of calmed down. If it's happening that it kind of calmed down in the 3rd hours, though, then that is a pitta imbalance. So you might be using some of the things in your food which are aggravating your pitta. So look into that why. Or you can use I will type that in. We have avipatica churna. So you can use a half a teaspoon in powder before your meals, or at that time. That should calm down. And you can do it for a week and then stop it, and it should go away if it's nothing major. If it's continuing on still, then you need to look at it a little bit more in depth. You might be eating too fast, or something else is going on here.
This is avipatica churna. And because I'm a very pitta person, I just have this in the house, you know, and it's great. It's great for any acidity or anything like that. And you can take it, you can just take it with water or with some honey or whatever, you know. So Greta asks, is it possible to find out why lymphocyte levels are high? 4.56 over 10.9 stroke L. I don't know the answer to that. Rajvinder or Chitali?
There might be some infection or some inflammatory changes going on in the body, usually when the lymphocytes go high. So you have to check like what is going wrong. And then there are like a lot of anti-inflammatory herbs which are there. And even other thing is like you can start having warm water. So that also helps to reduce any accumulated toxins which leads to swelling or inflammation in your body. So that's it. Like just start with warm water first and look on your digestion as well, and look for any inflammation which you can see in your body, if there are any joint pains or anything else.
Okay. So the next one is a very tricky one. I have Lyme's disease and I'm struggling to walk at the moment. Is there anything I can take? My legs from the knee down are very stiff. I'm usually a very fit person who walks about 4 miles a day. At the moment, I can only walk for about 10 minutes and it's very painful. Thank you. Actually, there was a program on RTE the other day about, I think it was on the Joe Duffy show actually, about Lyme's disease and how years ago they could never diagnose it, or it took months and years to get a proper diagnosis from Lyme's disease. So I think in general it comes from a tick bite, and especially from deer. So people who walk in the countryside or anything like that, and sometimes it comes up in a rash, and sometimes it doesn't come up in a rash. And it has like everything in life, it has various different levels for various different people, but it can leave people extremely, extremely debilitated. And I have a friend in Donegal who thinks he has it. He's not 100% sure he has it, but he definitely suddenly just began to lose all energy and had to give up work and everything like that. Rajvinder, have you come across Lyme's disease? I'm sure you have.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that, that you're feeling very stiff at the moment. Presume it is the autumn. Maybe this time of the year is very vata kind of accumulating in your system. So take it easy for the moment. Listen to your body. And you can use joint soothe oil. We have joint soothe oil, and just warm it up and apply on your legs, knee down. And when you're sitting on a comfortable chair, try to just do very gentle movement, like making circle with your ankles, or just move your legs so that some movement is there for the circulation point of view. Because I don't really know the whole health history and everything, but simple anti-inflammatory things like ginger, turmeric, you can take that, and try not to eat or drink anything too cold that increase vata, and have some more grounding meals, warm food, easy to digest food as well, and try to get to sleep. And hopefully with the settling of the autumn season, it should settle, because you said in general you're quite a fit person. So it depends on how you manage in general. Is that happening first time, or is that happening before? So if it's happening first time, then it is somewhat imbalanced. So look into your sleep. So try to ground yourself through your sleep.
Is panchakarma a solution? Or not that we ever gave a definite thing, but can it help with Lyme's disease if people go and do panchakarma?
It could, depends on the personality, the body type of the person, age, everything has to be fully evaluated first before going for panchakarma, because
Yeah.
it would be something
See,
very
like,
strong. Yeah.
yeah, any inflammatory changes are there, then
Yeah.
that time the panchakarma won't help.
Yeah, depends on
See
how
the
much.
condition of the patient, how it is.
Mm.
Yeah, because it seems to be extremely debilitating for certain people, So yeah, it'd be nice to be able to come up with something that would help,
You take your vitamin D. Hope you're taking your vitamin D, because this is kind of this change in the season is going to affect the movement a little bit for sure. So I think joint soothe should help you.
Okay. So we'll go back to the emails that came in. So this one is from Peter Ward, and it says, osteoarthritis is causing my left index finger to bend, and there is an unsightly bulge just above the nail. Any recommendations to reduce, alleviate this? Best regards, Peter. So Peter, we do have a webinar on arthritis, and we cover osteoarthritis in quite a lot of detail. So that's definitely worth looking at. You'll find it on our YouTube channel. I think maybe massage would be, with Vata massage oil might be helpful, but the doctors might have some more. Rajvinder, an unsightly, the finger is beginning to bend, and an unsightly bulge above the nail.
Yeah, it's just like it's going into the level where it is affecting the structure of the joint. So you need to put castor oil and keep it tight with a bandage or something before you go to bed. And hopefully that will give some softness to the joint, and keep moving it. Try to move it. If it's not painful, then you just have to use a soft ball or something to do exercise so that the joint gets some movement. And look into anti-inflammatory in your diet so that it doesn't affect other joints. So I don't think you can do more for that particular deformity, but you can bring some changes in your diet so that it doesn't affect other joints. And so in osteoarthritis is inflammation in your system that your body is going through these kind of changes. So again, using more anti-inflammatory herbs, simple in the cooking, like turmeric and ginger, and the other one I said for other people as well, and cloves, cinnamon, and these type of having diet. And you may be a Vata person if you're very skinny and tend to have dry skin and dryness in general in your body, introduce some healthy fats in your diet, and make sure you sleep well, because sleep does play a big role to help to detox your liver and liver get rid of these toxins from your system. So there's a lot of things that you can help for everybody here. Your sleep should be good, your digestion should be good, you should have a good kind of eating nutrients in your diet. Make sure you hydrate yourself really well, and make sure you have a good lifestyle, that you get to walk at least 30 minutes every day. This cold weather, it gets difficult with the movement, so and like you can divide 10 minutes of during the day at least 3 times. If you go get out for 10 minutes, you have 30 minutes movement. If you cannot do more than that, otherwise once or twice a week, you do some strength training or some cardio, that kind of strong exercises. So these are must. And stay away from processed food, frozen food, and preservative, that kind of things, to keep your system healthy and give it good nutrition. So that's the what you
Okay,
need to
lot of information there. So one from the email, this is from Darina. We've covered this already, but there might be something specific we can help with this, you know. So this says, my 30-year-old son has recurring symptoms of post-infectious IBS for over 5 years. Medical intervention, including tests and meds, have brought him no relief or hope for resolution. He is tall, thin, and otherwise healthy young man, so he sounds like he's Vata. Symptoms include bloating and excessive gas, a sensation of blockage in the esophagus when eating, a need to take deep breaths, extreme tiredness even after 8 hours sleep, and an occasional breakout of pimples on his face and neck. He feels like he's not getting the health benefits of sleep and may not be metabolizing food effectively. The ongoing condition can cause a depressive feeling of helplessness, and there doesn't seem to be any clear pathway to healing. Any advice or direction would be greatly appreciated. Well, I think, Dorina, everything we said earlier on about the lifestyle and avoiding processed foods and eating good, healthy, nourished foods, and at this time of the year, some people, I'm not saying this is the case with your son or with anybody, but some people are big into eating raw food. There's a big thing out there about, all the nutrients are still in the raw food and you lose them when you cook and all that sort of stuff. So there's this craze about raw food, but Ayurveda would not be in agreement with that in general. Maybe for a very strong pitta person in the summertime, some raw food is fine. But our point about it is the nutrients may be there, but if you can't digest them, it doesn't really make much difference. And what cooking does, there's a saying in Ayurveda that cooking puts the divinity into the food. So we get the most out of it, So by cooking his food and by having nourishing food and warm foods, it can have a big impact on him, But Dr. Rajvinder, I'll put that one to you if you have any other specific things.
Yeah, Ayurveda is more like seasonal diet, and the method of cooking change with the season. Use of spices change with the season. And the young people, there is so much of junk food out there that all of them are attractive, not one everybody. So, and these apps we have now for takeaway orders, just all that, it's all ruining our health. And so I don't know much about your son, Dorina, so need to know more. Definitely Ayurveda can help. He probably been on antibiotics and stuff like that in the past, so need to work he need to work on his liver as well. And might be some kind of stress or something going on that is affecting this, so need to start repairing the gut brain axis with the help of some of the herbs. So yeah, there is a lot you can do. Simple thing, maybe if he's not taking a probiotic, then start doing a very simple probiotic and see if that helps. I suggest that you consider a consultation for him.
Yeah, probably the best thing to do, because he is young and he doesn't want that to keep going, and it's definitely it's going to interfere with his
It is
happiness and his health.
depressing. Yeah, definitely.
So probably worth his while having a consultation with one of the doctors. So Noreen Ryan says, I have 3 warts on my forehead. What causes warts? One of the warts is on my hairline and it often catches in my brush when I brush my hair. It's turning a bit brownish. I would welcome any advice re how to avoid getting more warts or treating the existing ones. And that's Noreen Ryan. It's an interesting one, warts. And in Ireland, we have these special wells where people go to, and holy people that people go to, and it was always for getting rid of warts. You know, there was always these different cures for getting rid of warts. Maybe there was something in the water, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. I've never had them. But Dr. Trishelli, warts, any Ayurvedic perspective on warts?
Yeah, so warts basically they are due to fungal infection. So any kind of infection, and sometimes the warts come in and they go on its own without doing anything. But in Ayurveda, like there are few herbs or even the spices like nutmeg. So you just have to like take few like just one pinch of nutmeg and just mix it with honey and then apply it for just few minutes, like 5 minutes. It will sting a bit and then you just wipe it off with water. So try doing this, or else even sometimes even if your blood sugar levels are high, the warts might increase. So just check your blood sugar levels as well if you are having more of sugary stuff or anything.
Okay. Could you just take another question from the
Yeah,
Q&A?
I'll take
Where
from, yeah.
it's one for you, Dr. Tritelli,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Anja. I just have to
yeah.
do something here.
Yeah, Anja has said like, can the gum recession be reversed or only prevented from progressing? Okay, and similar, there are like 2, 3 questions. Even Ellen has asked any advice for a prolonged gum infection impacting a tooth. And Purnima has asked, does triphala help with receding the gums? Yeah. So just answering all of you three, like gum, as we talked about it, like gum and tooth, which are like organs in the mouth, and triphala is one of the good herb which can be used in this kind of infection or any kind of disorders. So triphala water, even if you just put 1 tablet of triphala into the water, a warm water glass, and just dissolve it properly, and then after that you just rinse your mouth twice a day, morning and evening. After doing the oil pulling is also fine, or else even doing oil pulling every day in the morning time after brushing your teeth should be really good to keep your gums intact and the teeth healthy. So these are the few things which can be done to take care of your gum, or even using tooth powders. Noel, do we still have the tooth
Yeah, we
powder?
have the tooth powder. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
we
tooth
have the
powder. Yeah.
tooth powder.
Yeah.
So even using the tooth powder will also help to keep the gum strong and even the teeth intact. So these are the few things which can be done on a daily
Okay.
basis.
All right. Sorry about that. I just got
Yeah.
I was just checking my WhatsApp, and I got a WhatsApp from Dr. Brennan asking me, was there a Q&A tonight? And I had sent him the Zoom, but Dr. Brennan's email got hacked. I think you all know that. And I sent the email to his old email address, you know.
Okay.
So but anyway, I'm just after sending them to the correct email address. So any of you that are using brennandon@hotmail.com, don't use that for the time being, okay? Because it's not getting through to Dr. Brennan at all, you know. So if you see him coming on there, Rajvinder, just let me know. I have sent him the correct email address, you know. So okay, so that's all the triphala and the gum one. So Andre says, with the heating on at work now, I find my throat gets very dry very easily, even with drinking 1.5 liters of water. Any suggestions? Thank you. Yeah, that can be a problem because the heating can dry out the air. I would suggest that you do the nasal oil inhalation in the morning time. Would be one thing that you could do. And
The oil
I don't
pulling.
know. Sorry?
And even the oil pulling as well. So it will
And the
help
oil.
to lubricate all the
Yeah.
sense organs. And again, I feel Andre looks to be a pitta person. So I would suggest like try having just the normal water than the warm water. And you can just see the difference. So start with nasal drops and then oil pulling and just the normal water for few days. And then maybe later after a month or so after starting with nasal drops and oil pulling, then you can start having warm water.
Then the other thing is you can use, if it's very bad, you could use throat soothe syrup, which is really nice. And also the tiny little tablets, the throat ease tablets. You don't really want to be taking them all the time. And the other thing is, do you need the heat on at work? Especially at the moment. It's not particularly cold either at the moment, you know. So Yeah, and it depends on your nature and everything like that. I wonder, a humidifier at work might be, I don't know, just to keep the air moist, might be a thing worth considering, you know. I don't know where you work or if it's a big office with a lot of people in it, but you don't want the air to be too dry because that'll affect everybody, you know. So Fiona's iPad, does Ayurveda have a recommended amount of water to drink a day, and is it best to gradually sip it throughout the day, avoid before and with meals? My thinking about drinking water, I know there's a big fad about drinking loads of water, and certainly you need water, but Ayurveda says go with your urges, like with your thirst. So I'm not a big fan of drinking liters and liters of water. I just drink water when I'm thirsty. I'm very lucky. I have a well near me that I discovered only recently, because the tap water in Drogheda is nothing short of disgusting, okay? Because it's like drinking out of a swimming pool. And then I was buying bottled water, and I'm thinking, what a waste, all this 5 liter plastic bottles every couple of days. I've got this huge, big plastic bottles. And then someone told me about a well that people have been using for about 50 years. So, and they're not dropping dead. So the well water must be fairly okay anyway. So I bought a huge glass container on Amazon, a 15 liter glass container. And I go out once a week or twice a week and I fill that glass container up. And then I have a smaller 5 liter container that with a little tap on it, which I also got from Amazon. I shouldn't be advertising Amazon, that I use for drinking water as well. But I just take the water. I do drink a glass of water in the morning when I get up. Then, you know, if I have tea during the day, there's water in that. But I don't sit down and drink a liter of water or anything like that, because I just would never feel the urge to do that. But maybe, Rajvinder, what do you think about drinking? How much water should people be drinking? I suppose it's down to Vata Pitta Kapha as well.
No, you still take 1.5 liter water a day. And if you're Pitta, you do 2 liter at least, because people are very dehydrated nowadays. Depends on what you eat, what kind of diet you eat. If you're eating many grains and a lot of fibrous vegetable, you need water to break that down in your system. So Ayurveda say you should be connected, as Ayurveda say, you should be connected with your hunger. You should be connected with your thirst as well. So if you feel thirsty, yes, you drink water. Otherwise, normally your Vaija has said to you, or make this tea or something, keep in your liter flask and sip it through the day. Yeah, you do that as well. So first thing in the morning, you drink a glass of water, which could be 250 ml, and then you drink another 250 ml around 11 or something. And so like that, you can, if you're sipping your liter as well through the day, so you can easily have 1.5 liter. It's not a big deal. So again, go with your thirst. So a Kapha person may not feel that thirsty because they are very high, kind of oily and heavy and sluggish because of the water and earth element. So they are very hydrated in general, Kapha people. So it's again, what you eat depends on that. You might be very thirsty. Some food make you feel more thirsty than the other. If you're eating a lot of fruits, there is a lot of water already there. So bit self-reflective as well, but you do need at least 1 liter minimum. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So I should actually, I mean, if you drink a cup of tea, is that considered drinking water? No? Okay. You're gone. Okay, I'll just have to find you. Hang on a second. You muted yourself. And Dr. Brennan is on as well. Hello, Dr. Brennan.
Hello there, Noel. How are you?
Very good. Sorry for sorry for excluding you from this evening's proceedings, but I sent your email to the wrong email address, and so that's why you weren't there. But anyway, it's good that you have you here now. I'll send a few extra questions your way. Sorry, Rajvinder. So really,
even the black tea is not, because black tea is going to make you more dehydrated because it is a stimulant for your bladder. But herbal tea, like a fennel tea or something, yeah, that is your fluid anyway. Yeah, that does.
So fennel teas and things like that should be okay.
Yeah, herbal teas are more fluid, unless it's a diuretic, because black tea, coffee is a diuretic. So.
Okay, but then I should really, because I am Pitta, you're talking about 2 liters a day, so I should really increase my intake of water.
Hydration is important, very important.
Okay,
70% of our body is water, so you do need, unless you're not going to toilet. If you're going to toilet, then you do need to replenish it.
No, I definitely go to the toilet. Sorry, Don.
I suppose you've already said, that you're hydrated if your pee is dilute.
Yeah.
You've said that, have you? Yeah.
Well, if your pee is yellow, then you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
If it's a dark yellowish.
Yeah, the
Yes.
color of pee tells you how hydrated
Yeah,
you are,
yeah,
the
okay.
quality of
Well,
your
I think I'm hydrated anyway, and but anyway, I don't mind drinking water now because I have the well water. But I never liked going in and buying plastic
You're
bottles
going
and
5 liter water every week. What you doing with that?
15 liters of water every week. Yeah, I'm using it for cooking. I use it for the cooking. I can use
Yeah.
it for cooking my dal and everything, and so it's haven't quite gotten around to bathing in it yet. But anyway, I'm just used it for cooking. Okay, so Anja has a good suggestion here. She says, check out new heat therapies being tried in Germany from Lyme disease with allegedly good success. Yeah, you need to look into all of those things carefully and, just decide. Don, do you have any? There was a big program on RTE the other day of people suffering from Lyme disease, and particularly people years ago who couldn't even get a diagnosis of it. And but then they were saying when they did get diagnosed and they were put on some antibiotic treatment that it did have some improvement for them. And one woman said it had like 75% improvement in her energy levels once she got the diagnosis and got the correct treatment. Does Ayurveda? I was wondering about panchakarma, but the girls weren't too sure about it for Lyme's disease. Have you any experience with it over the years?
Oh, I do remember a lady that when we were in Delhi in the Panchakarma treatment center there, Dr. Raju had a lady from Canada, I think it was, and he was really, really concerned. He thought from taking her pulse that she was going to be very ill because he felt it had gone into her nervous system. But in fact, she did very well with the treatments. But she was having full-scale panchakarma treatments, clearing the toxins out of her system, and that then allowing the herbal tonics to work to strengthen her immunity and strengthen the damaged nervous system that she had.
Is it a viral thing from the tick that bites you? Is it a virus that gets into your system that causes Lyme disease?
Bacterial.
Yeah,
It's a bacteria.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm kind of don't know too much about it, but I did.
it's
I,
something to be aware of because deer ticks and the deer population in Ireland is really
all the
expanding.
time, yeah.
In Europe, the
No,
mountains a lot.
these poor people. I mean, some of the stories were just like horrific, like people having to give up their work and couldn't socialize anymore, couldn't go out. They were just exhausted all the time, So
Yeah.
anyway, you could check out that thing about the heat therapies in Germany and also maybe check out looking at Panchakarma as well. We had some questions in on our Instagram account, which Emma Barry in Cork is now running for us and doing lots of stuff on Instagram. So one of the questions comes from somebody who obviously knows a bit about Ayurveda, or maybe a lot about Ayurveda. It says a suggestion for a Rasayana for my Pitta Prakriti 3-year-old who keeps picking up illnesses from school. So this is obviously a little Pitta child that's getting sick at school a lot, picking up infections and stuff like that. Don, any suggestions for a Rasayana for a 3-year-old?
Well, even if the child is Pitta, I mean, the child is in a Kapha phase of life, and it'd be interesting to know a bit more about what infections the child is picking up, because if they're chesty, snuffly, again, we'd be thinking more in terms of Kapha. I think the gentle tonic we use for kids at that age is just the Mind Power syrup. That's specifically to help their growing nervous system. But if it was a Kapha condition, you'd be thinking more in terms of something for the chest, something for Udana. So if she could give a bit more information, maybe could be more
Well,
helpful.
I'm not sure the lady is on it's a thing on
Maybe
Instagram. Would Chyawanprash be
Chitrali or
suitable?
Rajvinder.
Yeah.
Chitrali or Rajvinder might having had a 3-year-old.
So even Chyawanprash along with the rose petal jam should be okay to give like half teaspoon of Chyawanprash and then half teaspoon of rose petal jam. Mix it together and give that. That is also good to build up the immunity. But again, as what Dr. Brennan said, like we should get to know like what kind of infection she's catching hold of.
Yeah. So MA 3674 is that Mind syrup, is the study power syrup. It's got several different names, but And then Chyawanprash is another Rasayana that people use. But yeah, you're saying you need more information on this. And I'm not sure if that lady's on the call. If you are, just put it into the chat and you can tell us what type of infections the child is getting, you know.
Certainly what Chad Trowley said would be absolutely lovely if it's sort of chesty things. Because
Okay.
Chyawanprash will be specifically tonic for the chest as well.
And then another question came in from Mary on Instagram, and it was advice for high blood pressure. They want to avoid going on medication. So my own personal advice would be that a meditation technique, transcendental meditation, has been shown to be helpful in reducing high blood pressure. Actually, the American Heart Foundation came out and said it was the only one that they did research on that had the research to show that it could reduce high blood pressure. And then, you know, if you're meditating, it's going to have big impacts on all aspects of your life and hopefully calm things down a lot. There are herbs for helping to reduce high blood pressure as well. MA1779 is for high blood pressure, you know. But Don, any other suggestions for this lady that wants to avoid medication?
Yeah, I think she should have a regular exercise. If it's a situation also that if she's carrying a little bit extra weight, losing weight can help with the blood pressure, but the exercise is quite good. And there is a DASH diet, which is dietary approaches for systolic hypertension, DASH, DASH diet. So there's evidence to show that that diet, which includes plenty of whole grains, beans, vegetables, fruit, low in dairy, can be helpful. And then avoid stimulants like too much caffeine, and you know, the usual refined foods, the convenience foods. Magnesium as a supplement may have a little bit of influence. And
very much anxiety related. That's the Vata imbalance. So
yeah,
do all the Vata balancing approaches we have discussed in the self-care routines, and then it's very difficult to give you a remedy for blood pressure. I think it's a thorough consultation is more recommended for blood pressure, that kind of strong issue. It's hard to answer questions on the serious health conditions without knowing the whole health history. So there are very strong questions. So it's not easy to give a remedies, and that may not be suitable for you because Ayurveda is a very individual approach.
Yeah, and we haven't done a webinar on high blood pressure. Maybe again, I'm not sure it would be worthwhile doing a webinar on high blood pressure because people can have it for so many different reasons, you know. And as you say, Dr. Rajvinder, you really need to know the person. But I think one thing would be meditation would definitely help, no matter what type of packetry you have. I think meditation would definitely help with that. And if you're overweight, for sure, lose weight is going to help. And as Don says, exercise and getting out in the countryside and getting out walking is also going to have a big impact. So there's a question from a 65-year-old man who wants to know, are there any suitable foods, herbs, tablets to help with blood sugar levels? Also, can we recommend a good oil for massage on the feet? Well, sesame oil or bath and massage oil is good for the feet. There are herbs to help with blood sugar levels. Again, it's down to diet and stuff like that. Don, 65-year-old, foods, herb tablets to help with blood sugar levels?
Well, cinnamon is certainly a good spice in the food that it could be added. But the blood sugar levels, again, you know, if it's a diabetic situation, there's two types. There's a Vata type of diabetes and a Kapha type of diabetes. If you're 65, it might be more the Kapha type of diabetes. So it's a whole approach. You know, you don't handle it with a spice. You know, there are so many factors in life that have accumulated over so long. It's not a one pill or a one cause effect. So it's back to what Rajvinder was saying. If that's a serious condition, that should be handled seriously and not throwing a little cinnamon at it. But yeah, if it is a Kapha condition, then more exercise, Kapha for reducing diet. Again, if weight is a problem, the loss of weight can make a significant difference. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Ayurvedic approach, when for thousands of years before medicine discovered, it's a reversible condition. And even I've had good results with people who are on insulin that required a lot less of the insulin through their Ayurvedic strategies. But it's, again, we don't know how serious the condition is, so can't really say much more.
Okay. Again, if the person might be worth having a consultation if it's a very serious thing and they want an alternative approach to it, you know. So Ellen is asking for plantar fascitis for a 65-year-old man, pain in the heel for 2 months with difficulty walking. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody, Chichali?
Yeah. The plantar fasciitis, usually you have pain when you are walking. So for this, basically, just massaging the feet is a good remedy to do. And then you take warm water tub and just after massaging oil, after doing a oil massage to the feet, just put that feet into that warm water and put like 2 to 3 spoons of salt, rock salt into the warm water, and just keep that for around 5 to 10 minutes and do this morning and evening. So this will help to reduce that pain, because that is a vata condition and the oil and the warm water will help to pacify that vata. And even there are like few exercises, like you have to stretch your leg if you have a foot like this, and then just stretch that foot forward and backward and then to the sides. So this is how it will help to stretch that tendon which is attached to the plantar bone. So it will help to reduce the inflammation which is occurring, and that will reduce the inflammation when we do the massage with the oil and then put the feet into the warm water.
That's lovely. I mean, I love the oil, heat, and then stretch is a lovely sequence because it works very well. And that's a lovely treatment for the condition. 2 things come to my mind in terms of prevention, if I might. One, there's a book written by a man called Augusk, and he takes the point of view that, you know, if you've got a problem in your foot, really, its cause is much more distant. In fact, we carry weight down through our body, down through all the joints. And because we are perfectly aligned, our structure is designed to carry the weight effortlessly. But because we get thrown out of alignment with the blows and the bangs and the falls, the weight comes down in a distorted fashion. And rather than hitting the right in the center of the foot is an amazing design because it's got 2 arches, if you like. It's got the arch forward, but it's also got an arch this way. And you know from the cathedrals that they carried the huge weight of the lead on the roof through these great arches. So the arch is a way of distributing the weight. But if the weight comes down right in the middle, that's perfect. The weight is distributed perfectly around the foot. But if the weight comes in like this, then you can see how the weight is starting to hammer a part of the foot with every step. And that may then be causing the trouble. So I would get the book by Augusk called Pain Free. Pain Free, Pain Free. It's a funny name, Egoscue. And I'd read the first 2 chapters to understand what he's talking about, and then I'd go straight to the foot and do the exercises, which are not merely for the foot, like Chitrali is focused on healing the foot, but these exercises will be focused on aligning the rest of the joints and the weight to come down onto that foot more comfortably. So that's one prevention. Those exercises, if they're going to work, should work within 2 weeks, or should be seen to have an effect within 2 weeks. So you do them once, twice a day for 2 weeks to see how you're getting on. If you want to take a shortcut, put a Gusk foot into the internet. Often some exercises already come up. The second thing, my sister went to an orthopedic surgeon because she had foot problems. And he said, I'll inject your foot, but we'll wait a month. And in the meantime, I want you to get Hoka shoes, HOKA shoes, which she did. And then she went back to him in a month. And he said, no, I'll inject. And she said, you will not, because I've no pain in my foot anymore. The hucka seems to be capable of absorbing the impact that your foot has hitting the ground walking. So it cushions. So they're expensive. I went off and got a pair in the strength of it. They were good enough for my twin. Well, good enough for me, and I've got a knee problem. So I have a lovely pair of Hakka. 175 euros, most I've ever paid for a pair of shoes in my life. But they're worth it.
Sometimes they're
Yeah.
on sale. They're good shoes.
They're becoming popular, all right. Dr. Brennan's ones are bright yellow, so he has to walk ahead of me when we go walking now, you know. And just when we get out in the countryside, then I come up beside him, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we're not saying that these are definitely going to work, but they seem to there's a lot of people talking about them, so you can look at them online. We're not getting any commission from Hoka for selling these shoes or recommending these shoes or anything like that. But yeah, I probably will end up getting a pair of them myself. They have a waterproof Vortex version, which would be very good for hill walking. And but anyway, yeah, so it's something worth thinking about. And they seem to only have bright yellow colors anyway. But go ahead, Dan.
Poor Angie just lost a pair of Hakka. That's an expensive loss.
Yeah. I'm not sure how you lose a pair of shoes. That sounds very, very bad.
She left them by accident in a hotel.
It's definitely bad. Definitely. It sounds like something I'd do as well. Yeah. Well, I think you should contact the hotel and get them back, especially if they were 170 euros. So, but anyway, so what?
She's allergic very bad.
Okay.
Grace has the solution for Anja, because Grace is suggesting barefoot.
Yeah, barefoot is a great one.
She's wondering what are our thoughts on barefoot shoes.
Barefoot shoes.
What are barefoot shoes? Does she mean walking barefoot?
No, there are barefoot shoes, just
There's a
barefoot.
brand of barefoot shoes.
I know, but she's just talking about being barefoot, which is absolutely. I'd spend most of the summer if I'm out at the beach. Just don't wear any shoes at all. It's a great way.
It's a brand of shoes.
Barefoot
like
shoes.
A hoka, yeah.
Yeah, but it's also a way of going, you know.
Yeah,
so
you're saying the brand of the shoes, not barefoot. With plantar fasciitis, you cannot walk barefoot.
Yeah, well, there was a guy who used to walk around Dublin barefoot. I don't know where he is now.
Yeah, he didn't have plantar fasciitis.
What are your thoughts on barefoot shoes? Yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah, it's not barefoot.
She's talking about the brand. She's talking about the brand, and Anja agrees with you. No, she's very bad.
Yeah.
Your diagnosis.
Yeah, she know about them. Her partner wear.
I don't know about the barefoot shoes brand. I mean, you just read so many things about these things. If in the summertime, just go. If you're out in the countryside or you're out at the beach, just go barefoot and walk barefoot around your house.
Don't worry about all these brands. Just get a good insole shoes what you have. Yeah, so just need to get a good insole to support your plantar fasciitis, because that's the hardness in the tendon. So if you have nice insoles in the shoes you have, I think that will help. But we got a good laugh about these brands, so I'm sure.
Okay.
Well, I was put off barefoot when there was a guy in Germany. He walked around barefoot everywhere, but he never washed his feet.
Well, I'm not saying you don't wash your feet, but I mean you can still walk barefoot. There's no need to wear shoes in your house. I don't wear shoes in the house, and there's I mean you were talking about the brain map that you like, all the senses you have on the bottom of your feet, and like you're sending up a whole map up to your brain, which is creating a map of the ground, and people who walk barefoot, I don't know, they say there's research to say that they've less falls as they get older. I don't know how true that is, but it does make sense because you're using all those nerve endings to send the signal up to your brain, as opposed to when you're wearing a pair of shoes and you're basically not using those nerve endings at all, or very, very few of them. But obviously you can't walk barefoot everywhere, but you can walk barefoot whenever you can, you know. Anyway, we'll move on from bare feet. Tanya has a question. Is Agni Manta good for digestive problems? Well, by the name of it, it sounds to be good. It's not a brand or a product that I'm familiar with. Are you familiar with it, Dr. Raj?
Agni Manta it's a name for slow Agni that we use the term in Ayurveda. No, I'm not sure if you are indicating towards the herb or something.
Agni Manta is one of the herb.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the herb, and again, it is the name itself says that it is hot in potency. Agni is fire, so this Agni Manta is hot in potency, and it is like pungent. It has pungent and astringent taste. and little bit of sweetish taste as well. So it balances Vata and Kapha disorder. It is good for digestive issues, but again, it depends like what condition, for what condition you are taking that. If you're taking for any aggravated Pitta condition, then I won't suggest you to take this again.
Sounds like it has tricatu and triphala, those kind of pungents. Tricatu.
Yeah. It is pungent in taste, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's
it depends.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on what it's been used for, and you'd have to know the ingredients. And sometimes they give these generic names for different mixtures, but actually, when you look at the ingredients, different companies put in different things
Yeah.
into them, you know?
This is not a mixture. I think she's talking about. Agnimantha is one of the herb. Just
The herb, is it?
Yeah, it's the herb.
Okay. I haven't come across that. Have you come across that, Dan?
I just heard the name.
Just heard the name. Okay, okay.
I didn't know all the details that Chitrali provides us with.
That's okay, okay.
Just Anna said that her own experience of the plantar fasciitis was in agreement, so she must have used the AGOSC method and found it helpful. So just
Okay, so we've enough. Okay, well, they have that. You put that in the chat anyway, Dan, so
I
you can
think
put
sore
that in
or
there.
not. I think sore or not now, it's lovely to give the old feet a good massage.
There's a little bowl, a copper bowl, specifically for massaging the feet, and with oil as well that they use in Ayurveda.
Is there a purpose
another one
for that, Chitrali?
Sorry?
Is there a purpose for the copper specifically for the foot?
Yeah, copper actually it helps to reduce the heat from the body. So that's why copper is used, like copper ball is used, or even there's Kansya ball, like it's like a
That's it, Kansya ball,
brass,
yeah.
Yes.
So both can be used to massage the feet
Okay.
to reduce the pitta.
So another question in from Instagram. It says a female in her 30s, Vata dosha, who produces a lot of oils on the face, which would indicate Kapha rather than Vata, but maybe they're a thin person, leading to acne, regular breakouts. Can Ayurveda recommend anything from the Ayurvedic perspective? So a person who gets a lot of oil on the face, even though they're Vata. Anyone?
So
Or I'll
again,
pick one.
like imbalance of kapha, if I would understand, like if there are like a lot of acne and oil production, so more of sebum is produced, and that might be a kapha imbalance as well. And again, the acne where the breakouts are more, that also depends, like if there are breakouts below the chin, so that will indicate more towards the hormonal imbalances. And if they are on the cheeks, then it is more to do with some digestive disorders. And if it is over the forehead, then it will be like more something related to stress or anxiety. So it depends like where the acne is. But again, there are remedies to work on. If it is like a digestive disorder, you have to look into your digestion, like what all you are eating and the timings, how you are having in your daily routine. And external applications are also like you can use neem and then powder of licorice, and along with a little bit of pinch of turmeric into that, and then rose water, and then apply as a face pack, and then wash it off after 10 to 15 minutes. So it depends upon like what kind of acne and where it is.
Okay. So Ellen O'Shea says she also wants to ask about a tooth abscess and how you can treat it, please. So we've gone over, well, all of the oral hygiene routines in the morning, the oil pulling, the gum care oil, the tongue scraping, all of that. And we've discussed putting triphala on either triphala powder or triphala tablet on it. But an abscess, Don, have you weren't there for that. Have you any suggestions for a tooth abscess?
No, but I do think that often the triphala at the tablet left in overnight, and if it's an acute abscess, I'd put another tablet in between each meal, and just to draw out the toxins. It may calm it down. There is a specific tablet for that, but it's not available to us. But that works well for a lot of people.
Okay, so it's a triphala. And Greta asks about, well, we were talking about high lymphocytes earlier on, and the doctors were given maybe some reasons why, but the Greta wants to know what your opinion would be on it. Someone getting a reading for high lymphocytes.
It sounds like the immune system is stimulated for some reason, and whether there's a subliminal infection going on in some area.
It's great because that's exactly what the doctor said now, and you weren't even there, you know. So it's
There
good to
you
have.
are.
It's good that we have a lot of consistency here tonight, you know. So
Sure, they're always
yeah,
right.
that's right, is right, yeah. Okay, so same thing, Greta, as the doctor said earlier on. What are your thoughts on barefoot shoes? Yes, you're right, Regina. I apologize. She was talking about barefoot shoes as opposed to walking barefoot. And Anja says yes. I'm very bad to know. No, talking about the brand of shoe. Okay, barefoot shoes are excellent shoes. My partner wears them to work on his feet all day. Great for posture. Okay, that's laughter therapy tonight, says Regina. I have barefoot shoes. They are comfortable for many. Okay. Kansa Batki, good for foot massage. Yes, that's right. That's the ball. Yeah. Thank you. This is Ingrid, who I think is new to us. It's been so far. I'm one of the Lyme with Lyme and incredibly tired. Going to bed now. Thank you for a wonderful help. Okay,
Good luck.
great. Okay, and Tanya says, I was talking about Agni Manta, the herb. I have started taking a tablet at night for digestive issues and I'm feeling better. Okay, well,
Great.
if you're feeling better, then if you're be self-referral with these things, I have not come across that herb before, but there are literally thousands of herbs in Ayurveda and thousands of herbs all over the world that we may not know about, but Chitrelli knew about it. So if you're finding it good, then that's fine, you know.
Greta's wondering where she's going to find out where the inflammation is. Well, if she hasn't been for a checkup for a while, there's no harm in getting the waterworks checked and seeing if something comes up on a battery of tests. The lymphocytes anyway are going to be rechecked if she has the bloods done, and sometimes it's a once-off that it will have settled down.
Underlying autoimmune thing. I think
Yeah.
Greta has something on that.
That's true
She,
too.
she mentioned like the bloods are done and the values were mentioned earlier, 4.5 to 10.5, which
Yeah.
increased drastically. So yeah, what Dr. Raj said, it might be autoimmune disorder.
Yeah,
or,
definitely.
Yeah.
You can investigate for further.
And
Yeah.
how are the ESR values? Like, how is it? Just check with that as well. Like,
Yeah. No, get those bloods double checked, because if they've gone up suddenly, they want to be checked anyway, because if it's an acute thing, they'll be back down again, which is hopefully what you'll find.
Okay, that's great. Well, we got through all the questions on the email and we got through all the questions from Instagram and we seem to have got through all the questions on the chat as well. Yeah, so that's
le creek na le cúpla focal gaelga, gur mila mahagwev, gur mila ma Antoinette Flanagan.
yes, we let you we let you handle all the Gaelic questions now. So Gaurav Mila Mahagat, 1,000 thank yous. Okay, so that's fantastic, everybody. Okay, that's great. So listen, thanks a million for coming on. We've a lot of activities on this weekend, as I said earlier on. There's still spaces on the practical day. I think we've about 60 people booked in, but we can take more. That's starting at 10:30 on Saturday in the Airport Maldron Hotel. A great day of all practical knowledge, practical things that you can do for healthy living. I was talking to the hotel today about lunch. The last time we ran it there, we had more than 100 people there, and we specifically ordered a menu, and they gave us vouchers that people paid for. But we're not doing that this time. But they've said that they'll have 2 vegetarian and a vegan option on the menu in the hotel. And then there's another hotel across the road, and there is for the people who want to break out and have had enough, there's a McDonald's around the corner, and there is all the other ones up at the airport as well. So we're not far from anywhere, you know. And that'll finish at 4:30, from 10:30 to 4:30 on Saturday. Then Sunday morning we have our brainstorming event. If you want to come along and find out about becoming an Ayurvedic practitioner or a therapist, or have any ideas about how we can get this information out to more people, we definitely want to hear that. Actually, Emma is going to come along and give a presentation on what we're doing on social media these days. So we've been upping our game on social media. So we're on Instagram a lot, and Had some people email me about that, saying they like very much what they're seeing on Instagram. And doing more on Facebook as well. So Emma will do a presentation on that. And then in the afternoon, we have a concert to celebrate Ayurveda Day. Again, the concert is free, but you need to let me know your comments so I can control the numbers. I think we, again, have about 60 or 70 people booked in, but we should be able to take another maybe 20 people if you want to come along. But do drop me an email, and that'll be from 2:30 and that'll finish around 5 o'clock, you know. So lots of different events happening. So, okay, everybody, that's fantastic. I'll send the recording of this out with the next newsletter, which will probably be on Saturday morning. We also have our sale, our October Bank Holiday weekend sale, which started today. That went out in your newsletter today. The code is OCT24, October 24, and that'll give you 20% discount on our website. And that'll last until the 31st of October. So yeah, lots and lots of things happening. So thanks very much. Big thank you to the doctors for coming on. Sorry, Don, I sent your Zoom link to the wrong email address, but you have it now anyway. And so that's great. So thank you very much, everybody. So
Thanks,
namaskar. Have a great night. Take care. Thanks, Rajvinder. Thanks, Chutali. Thank you. And thanks everybody for coming on.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.